We'll start the presentation on Waseda University, the university, campus, and communication, past, present, and future. Waseda University is a private independent research university located in Tokyo, Japan, founded in 1882 by Shigenobu Okuma. During its early times, when the university was still named Tokyo Senmon-Gakko, there were 80 students enrolled within the first 4 departments that were available then, which were departments of political science, law, English, and physical science. This image from 1882 was taken in front of the university library that was also established when the school was founded. So fast forward to 2021, there are estimated to be over 620,000 alumni and 50,000 students currently studying in Waseda, out of which there are a large number of international students, totaling to around 7,200 students across 13 departments. In order to cater to these international members, the university has created bilingual platforms to inform and promote themselves domestically and globally. Here we'll be analyzing how the brand Waseda University defines what the brand is based on, its values, heritage, and architecture. We'll first discuss how the projected brand image by Waseda differs according to their choice of language, English and Japanese, on various official platforms. As one of the first sources, we will look into their official website. This is the view of their About page in Japanese and English. This is the Japanese version. The Waseda About page begins with the logo in the left corner, easy to find and instantly grabs your attention. This logo is something that we're all familiar with. Was designed in 2007 during the university's 125th anniversary when the school unified the design system to better promote and manage the university identity. It was inspired by the square cap from traditional student uniforms and was designed to be a simple and timeless symbol. During one of our interviews, there was an interesting point made by one of the students of Waseda. She stated she thought the university was for the commoners because the symbol had wheat symbol on it. And that university did not marginalize certain groups based on their financial situation. However, upon entering the university, she realized that it was not exactly so. And approaching this idea from comparing tuition fees from other universities like Keio, it was not that different. And so it made her change her mind. Just like the logo, the overall usage of color, specifically Waseda Burgundy, is used throughout the page with monochromatic shade variations, adding coherence to the entire page. The university is easy to identify with this signature color. Next, sophistication of the website, which directly has an influence on how the university will be viewed by the visitors of this page, are determined by the clean layout and composition of the website. It is designed with a set theme, and according to research, this website was awarded the Good Design Award in 2015. Designed with an aim to not rely entirely on text to communicate information, though ironically, this page is covered in text without an image for reference. Interestingly, we found a website archive from 2011, and in comparison to this, it can be seen that the 2021 version effectively summarizes the image of the university and does a better job at communicating their brand story. In the past, Waseda's About page did not have a section for university description, but now they do, which allows for readers to relate to their message and connect with the overall brand image. Also, adding to the authenticity or authentic factor of being a traditional university with heritage, holding pride in its ability to evolve as an institution while simultaneously valuing their long history. As for the English page, in comparison, the About page is designed in a more plain and minimalistic manner. Black text on white background, as simple as it can be. The point which draws the attention are the Waseda logo, large text in the middle, and the image. Logo, as it is the only part of the website that is solidly colored, it adds emphasis on the Waseda identity. Next, text draws attention because of its dynamic expression of using serif and sans serif fonts. On a plain page, the slightly decorative serif font conveys a sophisticated and professional image, whilst the other gives the main description as a plain text. Serif font is the largest text on the page, and it communicates the main message that Waseda wants the readers to know in 5 words: what Waseda is, a progressive university of traditions. Lastly, unlike the Japanese page, which did not feature any images on the top page, the English page is presented with a friendly-looking hand-drawn image of the Waseda map. Just by adding this image, it has the effect of making the plain page look very welcoming. From how the English page was designed, it suggests Waseda minimalized the look to effectively communicate the necessary information and to withhold from overwhelming the readers. Now we will briefly touch upon the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They also run an official LinkedIn page. However, it is inactive, so we'll skip over it for now. To summarize, YouTube is where there is a compilation of Waseda's latest achievements, and it's very news-like and exudes a professional atmosphere. And it has a very high public engagement. Onto Instagram, it has an underlying theme throughout their posts, and their post makes you feel as though you're enjoying a nice walk around Tokyo. And it is done through the Waseda University's lens. Facebook and Twitter, it has overlapping contents, and they both have posts on latest university and student updates with a mixture of contemporary and traditional news. It is directed towards public readers and local readers as they're both in Japanese. YouTube and Instagram offers English language. However, Instagram is the only one with just English. Out of the official platforms that were run by Waseda, they look to be putting greater efforts in the video making, which is quite conspicuous from the visual quality, editing techniques, addition of subtitles, and adjustments of saturations and such. Style-wise, both are still made with sophisticated language and much like a news broadcast. However, with the major improvement in the quality, recent videos look more like a documentary, inviting viewers into a visually appealing and informational video. As you can see in comparison, the left, the 2013 to 2014 one, looks more like an NHK news broadcast, and 2020 to 2011 version looks to be more like a documentary video with high quality video and color saturation and such. The official Instagram is the only platform which only runs in English, and this page is used to upload city landscapes of Tokyo and relaxing photos of nature and animals. Previously, they posted more pictures of the university and the students. However, recently, the main subject of the photographs have become people-less, focusing more on architecture and seasonal landscapes. Facebook and Twitter, compared to the earlier two, show no significant effort to engage with the followers. It seems they are uploading for the sake of sharing contents from their other websites. Therefore, they're not exactly using the social media. Due to this non-tactical approach, Facebook and Twitter are relatively boring to look at, and despite their frequency of posting contents, they're not receiving as much positive reception or positive engagement from the followers. In short, the admins seem less aware of the active users of these SNS platforms, and contents are uploaded without a specific target group, so they're not as impressive as they can be. So just to briefly summarize, YouTube and Instagram Waseda seems to be keeping up with the change and is directly reflective of the progressive university image that they want to portray. And it is believed to have been done so as these two platforms are catered towards younger audiences and newcomers of Waseda. And as for Facebook and Twitter, they are shared towards more of the public and the locals. Therefore, they convey an impression as though the university is remaining unchanged and continues to send out the same brand image from the past. Hence, for the newcomers and for the stakeholders of Waseda University, may seem unimpressive and un-Waseda-like, as it does not exactly align with the progressive university brand image that they want to portray. However, at the same time, when speaking of traditionalism and portraying the past and its history, Facebook and Twitter seems to be doing a good job. And despite their overlaps in contents, they are keeping up with updates. So sharing information and their main motive to continue to distribute the information on Waseda, they're achieving that very well.
The Waseda area has many restaurants, a shrine, a four-star hotel, and even has a distinctive Waseda El Dorado monument located near the main gate, which was designed by a Waseda graduate. So location-wise, it attracts different kinds of people. Waseda is definitely a part of the community, and considering the legacies that spread out around the area. Its campus is guarded with fences, however, it's still open to the public as visitors are not required to present any form of IDs. This can be a way for Waseda to communicate transparency to the surrounding communities and the public. So not only that, it also allows future prospective students to feel what it's like to be in the campus. Meanwhile, surrounding businesses are often in collaboration with not only the academic institution itself, but also with student bodies. We can simply see that the relationship between these two parties is evident in the numerous amounts of student discounts and also almost always crowded restaurants, especially during lunchtime, possibly because of the limited size of Waseda's cafeteria. Next, we can arguably say that Waseda is trying to project itself as a global education hub. It can be said that Waseda tried to achieve its ambition in becoming a pioneer in Japanese education, especially in the establishment of the School of International Liberal Studies, whereby instead of providing specialized education, SILS offers globalized education by teaching fundamental values across multiple disciplines. And because it's not common, at least in Asia, it is arguably a genuine or authentic experience. By immersing oneself in an international community within a homogeneous island, Waseda seeks to bring the outside world inwards. On the other hand, Waseda increases the frequency of interfaculty interactions by spreading out classes across the faculty. So this may be seen as a subtle way of forcing interactions, but definitely gives an impact to impressions of different faculty buildings and the people in it. So speaking of faculty building, Building 3 arguably has the most aesthetic interior in comparison to other faculty buildings in the main campus. They have lit up escalators and a mixture of Gothic and modern walls represent a message of the old meaning the new. Meanwhile, the School of Law has classic wooden floors and stairs in the middle right as they enter through the main entrance. School of Commerce and School of International Liberal Studies, as they share the same building, also has an impressive ceiling height in their entrance, which can be seen in the picture on the presentation right now. That allows voices of different languages echo in the hall. So there is a kind of a play in physics and also the elements of not music but sounds. Well, on the other hand, they do have the long lounge, which is rather dull in color, but I think what makes it vibrant is the international community that sort of fills up the space and sort of make it feel alive. However, despite the institution providing a range of facilities that encourage transparency and sort of like cross-community interactions, liberty of usage may backfire, sort of prevent the institution from achieving their goals. In other words, programs are vital support in order to persuade students to utilize these facilities and spaces accordingly, to allow them to achieve the concepts that Waseda wishes to achieve. For example, the ICC is established as a space for learning diversity, but without staff and events, it's merely an empty space that I don't think any other students will understand what it is completely about. Or we have Waseda Festival as an attraction for people to experience student contributions to work outside of class. So for example, we have dance, we have like taekwondo and everything, in comparison to when there is less activity going on, when there is no festival. It's just a mere pathway for people to get from one place to another, well, at least to the public. Another criticism that can be made is the diversity of professors in the institution. But when there are limitations in terms of professional skill to educate, for example, some professors are from a foreign background, but they do not really know how to teach Japanese or in English, that might become a problem, and students may not perceive the expected experience in comparison to the academic offerings that Waseda has made. So in other words, the programs constructed by the institution, As well as its quality, it's needed to not only achieve spatial concepts but also to deliver experiences.
We'll go on to the impression on Waseda from different faculties. So we interviewed face to face to students from different faculties, and they had different impression on Waseda University. So first, we interviewed faculty of sports science students, and this sports science faculty is in Tokorozawa campus. He was a man, and since he is studying in the Tokorozawa campus, he said that there were many architectures that resembles Waseda, such as Okuma Kodo and Okuma Shigenobuzo in Waseda campus, and that he doesn't really feel like he goes to the same university as us because the impression of Waseda is mainly in the Waseda campus, and Tokorozawa campus doesn't actually resemble Waseda in that way. That's how he feels. The students from Faculty of Literature had a different idea. So this is in Toyama campus. And he said that students in Waseda have a recognition that the Faculty of Literature is not that smart compared to other faculties, mainly in the Waseda campus. And because of that, he said that he hesitates to tell his faculty to other students and towards different faculties. However, there are many famous spots in Waseda University, such as the Ogamakodo, and there are many famous spots in Toyama campus too, like Toyama no Oka, where many people eat lunch or have fun in. So he feels that Toyama campus has a famous spot too that resembles Waseda University, and that he's a little proud about that. Next, we interviewed a student from Faculty of Law. He said that students in Waseda is really open-minded, and he feels that they challenge a lot of things, so he gets really affected by it and he feels really motivated. He told me that his friend in the same faculty is studying to get a qualification of certified public accounts, the CPA qualification, and that while studying about law at the same time. And also there are many people who wants to open new business. So students in Waseda University has a lot of different perspectives, has a lot of different goals, and they work really hard toward it. So his impression on Waseda is that Waseda students, it's really challengeable, and that they are really aggressive towards their goals.
From now on, let's talk about how Waseda University builds awareness overseas. Based on interviews with Koreans and Americans currently attending Waseda University and foreigners who are considering entering Waseda, we will find out how people know and think about Waseda University in other countries. There will be various brand values that shape the image of the school, but one of the valuable elements that only schools can have is alumni. The powerful influence of such graduates can be recognized by the perception of Waseda University in Korea. Regardless of age, it is no exaggeration to say that Korea's perception and gaze on Waseda comes from only one person. Lee Gun-hee, a graduate of Waseda University, was the second chairman of Samsung Group until his death. He's the most successful businessman in Korea and the mainstay of the Korean semiconductor industry. The fact that Lee Gun-hee, who achieved such social success, graduated from the school alone was enough for Waseda University to have a great reputation for Koreans. Similar to Korea, the US also has a high status at Waseda University due to one value. The fact that there is a system that allows easy access to English information from universities in completely different countries alone has increased the ease of access for Americans. Americans interested in Japanese university life have no choice but to research the internet for information due to the physical distance between the two countries. Unlike in the past when there was much information in English, Waseda University quickly began to provide information and purpose of the department in English. Waseda University offers the most diverse undergraduate programs among Japanese universities that offer English-based undergraduate programs. In fact, Americans attending Waseda University or preparing for entrance exams are attracted to ease of access to English information in Waseda University website.
To continue, the impression from Thailand was mostly positive due to the success of graduate alumni from the university. With that being said, considering Waseda had 7 former Japanese prime ministers, alumni, for example, Yoshihiko Noda being the 7th prime minister that graduated from Waseda, very much explain how Waseda is considered a top-ranked and prestigious university image to Thai people. For Thai people, economic studies has shown quite a reputation. For instance, these companies Uniqlo, founder Tadashi Anai and Samsung chairman Lee Kun-hee, in which these two companies is considered to be well known in Thailand and even worldwide. Having them majored and graduate with an economic degrees has been sufficient proof to Thai people to present that Waseda has a reputation in economics and business studies, as Waseda being able to produce such successful individuals. And so what about the impression from strangers who visited the university campus? Well, TripAdvisor, the travel research platform, shows some reviews from visitors who visited Waseda campus, with mostly positive review and having the ratings 4 out of 5 stars. And people visiting Waseda mostly said that they visited because of the famous novel author Haruki Murakami, and also just passing through Shinjuku, and the campus just happened to be there. Though the university campus did not show any uniqueness to visitors and have the typical Japanese image that anyone would feel if they visited.
So I will now talk about impressions on Waseda from Taiwanese media. Regarding the positive one is that Waseda is a very famous university in Japan. It's great for job hunting and it's great for networking within Japan. Also, it has a more liberal kind of education style. However, the negative ones were that it's not really a high-ranking school worldwide. For example, it's more suitable for job hunting or networking instead of for academic purposes. Second negative impression is that some people think we can get into international departments as long as we have the money. Therefore, the ability is not really an important requirement for interest. Regarding the impressions on Waseda from international media in general, I look at online forums as well as news. And there are three popular things recently. The first one is about the Haruki Murakami Library. So from this kind of news, we can get the impression that Waseda is a culture center and that Murakami is a famous alumni. And also it's a university with literary sensation and historical values. And the second popular news recently is about the Confucius Institution. Many people probably know already, but Confucius Institution is a institute from the PRC to kind of indoctrinate people about their PRC values. Although it's kind of controversial worldwide, but Waseda still implement these institutes at campus anyway. So it again shows that Waseda is an inclusive and international environment, and it also value education despite of the controversies. And the last one is that a lot of international news coverages are covering the campus vaccinations in Waseda right now. So it again shows that Waseda is attentive to global issues. Also, it's a safe place to have this kind of conducts. So that marks the end of our presentation. And we would like to propose 2 questions for thought. The first one is, how can Waseda continue to be a lifelong brand? And the second one is, will Waseda remain standing in the lead during this kind of globalization? That's it. Thank you for listening.